The Pokemon Company International invited me out to Paris, Lumio City, for a hashtag all expenses paid by Pokemon themed trip around Mega Evolution. You don't understand how happy I am that Megas are finally back in Pokemon. I got to explore the city of Paris, play an exclusive hands-on preview event of Pokemon Legends EA. Don't worry, I timestamped that for you if you're just here for that, because I know a lot of you just want to get to the game. We got to also react to the Nintendo Direct with a bunch of other creator friends, specifically the Pokemon parts in this video, and we got to participate in a really cool Pokemon Go event, which was a stamp rally to really celebrate the year of Mega Evolution. On day one, I arrived in my hotel room, which my room was actually all the way up on the 6th floor. Since this trip was based on Mega Evolution, I just had to decorate the room to, get in the theme of it. After doing all that setup and resting up from the jet lag, I then put on my Pokemon Worlds jacket from Yokohama, Japan, and then went down to the hotel lobby where I was able to meet all the creators that were invited to this event. And it was really funny because a lot of us were all arriving at different time zones, so it was interesting seeing how much sleep each one of us had. After we all talked for a bit, we then hopped into our Ubers and made our way to our first location. As soon as we got out the Uber, there it was in front of us. We saw the Eiffel Tower, aka the Prism Tower, and we were all just mind blown that we were actually here in Paris, the city that inspired the Heart of Kalos in Lumio City itself. But today we weren't actually going to that location, but stay tuned, that is happening. But instead, today we actually had a welcome dinner on the Seine River cruise. Now, this cruise was really cool because what it did was completely circle around the city of Paris on the Seine River. And we were able to see the different sights of Paris, as well as being able to take a look and admire the city. We had a live music performance. And we were served a bunch of different dishes on the boat. It was actually kind of fancy.
To Pokemon! To Pokemon! Hey!
As it started to get darker in Paris, our boat started to get closer to the Eiffel Tower. And if you didn't know, as it approaches nighttime, the Eiffel Tower actually lights up at the top of the hour. And when we saw it completely lit up, it was one of the most beautiful things that we all saw, and we really had to take in this moment. Really thinking about this, Pokemon brought us here, and all of us as creators and fans were there together on a cruise looking at the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, okay.
Woo!
And what really made this special was that our next big destination was going to be Lumio City in Pokemon Legends EA. And I, of course, had to bring my starter Totodile with me to make it even more special. Now, I wanted to do something really cool. I decided to get a few of us together and rip TCG pocket packs in front of the Eiffel Tower when this happened.
I think I got something.
Are you kidding me? You got a man. Are you serious right now? Oh my god! Oh my god! Wow!
Honestly, that was a once-in-a-lifetime pull. I got an immersive Suicune on a cruise with the Eiffel Tower right in the background. Can never repeat that again. After that, we had some dessert, had some coffee, and it was the end of day one and the start of day two. On day two, I woke up and got up at 3:45 a.m. because I literally could not sleep from all the excitement that was happening today. So I just doom scrolled in my bed until 6:30 a.m. and then went down to the hotel lobby to get some breakfast when I bumped into my friend Roger's base, who also woke up and was excited because there was a Nintendo Direct that was actually happening today.
Bonjour.
It is
Day two.
Day two. What time are we up in the morning?
Well, you got up at
3:40,
3:30. I
yeah.
got up at like 5:30. But I think like the Nintendo Direct hype is kind of carrying us through.
It's happening.
We've got a certain special thing that we're doing today, and then right afterwards, we're going to go react to the Nintendo Direct.
1 hour.
I know. We're probably going to end up seeing like another thing for ZA. Hopefully something else like Pokemon related.
Yep.
Obviously we're doing the stamp rally tomorrow. So
That's gonna be hype.
fun. So something related to Pokemon would be cool. Overall, I'm so excited to see whatever the new game is going to be that they're going to show. I am hoping and praying it's either Fire Emblem or Animal Crossing.
Oh, Fire Emblem
I'm
would
like
be
huge into both of
amazing.
those. What would be like your number one?
Fire Emblem game.
Fire Emblem?
I miss Fire Emblem.
After that, we then grabbed some breakfast, and then we got our group together, which included my wife Hannah, Glitchx City, Agent V, Awesome Adam, who joined us after, Princess Diana, Steph of Anime, and Party Arlie to walk to our next event, which was the Legends ZA preview that was going to take place at the Eiffel Tower. We walked around playing Pokemon Go while looking like obvious American tourists taking pics of random streets because everything in Paris just had really cool architecture and it looked nothing like America. So that's what we did. I, of course, brought my boy Totodile everywhere with me because I wanted to give my starter a preview of Lumio City ahead of time because he's the best starter. On the way to the Eiffel Tower, we did some side questing like visiting Cafe de Bussy that was in the movie Inception, as well as walking down an area that was similar to the Gomage if you played Expedition 33. We had a lot of fun with that. But we're here for Pokemon. Enough side questing. We then visited a cafe to get the feeling of what it would be like exactly in Legends ZA when you sit outside of it having your coffee and you're taking pictures with your Pokemon that were with you. We made it to at least one cafe so we can know what it's like in Legends ZA. I'm serious, if you actually visited Paris, you would be like, wow, they really made Lumio City based on the game. You feel like you're actually there. After all that, we finally made our way over to the Eiffel Tower. We got in line and reality still wasn't hitting us that we were about to go to the top of the Eiffel Tower to play an exclusive preview of Legends ZA that hasn't been seen anywhere before. There were even signs that pretty much said Legends ZA is this way. We then stepped into the elevator and we arrived at the top of the Eiffel Tower where we were greeted by our friends from the Pokemon Company and Nintendo who were wearing Malamar hats. Interesting. We also spotted some chandeliers just casually hanging around as decoration, and something tells me this is possibly a hint at something, but who knows? I think anything I see is going to be getting a Mega. After we checked in, I was handed a hotel key card with a Pikachu on it, and it had a number, and everyone else also got a different number and a Pokemon or character from Legends ZA. Now, these numbers actually corresponded to the station that we were going to play the game in, which I'm not actually allowed to show you the station because top secret stuff. However, I am going to tell you everything that happened during the preview right now. Now, if you skip to this part of the video, this is where the Legends ZA exclusive preview happens. This part has brand new gameplay and preview footage that was never shown off before until now, and to explain exactly what happens, it was broken down into 4 parts. Part 1 was exploring the Wild Zone number 6, capturing and battling wild Pokemon. Part 2 was a ZA Royale that had a lot of trainers with different Pokemon. Part 3, you actually get to see a rank up battle from rank W, then you hit rank V. And then part 4 is a Rogue Mega Victreebel battle, and I'll be walking you guys through all the footage. So thanks to Pokemon and Nintendo for providing this footage that you're about to see. Alright, so here it is, footage of Wild Zone 6 that takes place in the John District. Which is very nice. It's like the yellow district, and as you can see right away, we're gonna have little Baneries show up here, and as you can tell, they're not charging at us and being aggressive. See, they have little question marks, and if they do notice you fully, they just start to run away. I also do want to point out there are also levels to this entire area, which we are literally walking past. Right over here, if you take a look at your screen, we'll probably zoom in for you guys, you can see that there is a Binnacle just chilling there. So on this level below, once you just hop off, there's like a little ladder to climb up. There are Binnacles and there are Magikarp that you can interact with. This Wild Zone is bigger than it appears by just looking at it, as there are layers to this. Anyway, so we passed the Baneries, we cross the bridge, and then we enter an area which is the main street of Wild Zone 6, which you have seen in previous trailers that had the Houndours and it had the Alpha Houndoom here. Here we go. In this interaction though, we get to see something really cool, right? The Houndours are a lot more aggressive Pokemon, so they spot you and they start to attack you and they go for your trainer. While your Pokemon's trying to fight them, they are coming after you, so you have to be really careful and avoid those attacks. You can see that around the screen, it's starting to become a lot more red and damaged, which means you don't want to black out. There's another Houndour also attacking us. The good thing about this game is that there are multiple Pokemon interactions, so you'll be battling more than one Pokemon at one time. It's never just 1v1. I want to go back a little bit so you see this. There is actually a specific time frame where you can catch a Pokemon. So you can see that the crunch was just done on the Houndour. The Houndour is now at 0 HP. It's pretty much done. And you'll see this little star effect around its head. You have a specific amount of time once that happens to catch it. And after that time is done, GG's. The stars go away and the Pokemon despawns, which kind of puts it into question, what happens if that happens to be a shiny Pokemon? Are there safeguards around it? You don't want to run into a situation where there are a ton of Pokemon and you see a shiny. You probably want to take out the other Pokemon first so they do not interfere with you trying to catch that shiny Pokemon. Immediately as that Pokemon is knocked out, you would throw the Pokeballs at it, or you can actually throw Pokeballs even before it's even knocked out where the stars are above its head. So that's another strategy that you might want to implement. And the game doesn't really show that you could throw Pokeballs until you've knocked out the Pokemon, but you could actually throw them. In fact, I was actually throwing back straights at the Pokemon and having success without even battling some of these Pokemon. So that is a thing to keep in mind, and it kind of follows that Legends Arceus style. And you can see after our Watchog does take out this Houndour, that the trainer immediately catches it, and you probably have a lot more higher percentage chance of catching a Pokemon once it's knocked out. And once you do that, you can see that it gets registered. That's a first-time registration. It says the number where it is in the dex and the name. You can also see the entire party right over here is gaining experience altogether. Now, like I said, I wanted to point out that the area is a lot bigger than it seems, because it looks like Wild Zone 6 is pretty small just by looking at this. But if we back up just a little bit here, you can see that right over here is a Holovator. That's the exact name. That brings you up to a roof level. Now, on this roof level, I was able to interact with Pokemon like Flappies. There was also Wobblers up there, and it looks like all our trailers almost were showing off a lot of Wild Zone 6. Below in the water area, there was Binnacles and Magikarp there. There was also an Alpha Binnacle down there. By the way, here we go. On this left side over here, right by my head, there's also a little basketball court and another way up to another different rooftop, which had an Alpha Pikachu. And you can see right over here, we also have an Alpha Houndoom, which was shown off in previous trailers. I also wanted to point out Alpha Pokemon are actually pretty difficult to deal with. Now, here's something that I want you to really pay attention to. If you look over here, there is a cafe area. Now, while you are in mid-combat with your Pokemon, you can access the cafe and talk to the person there, and then it'll bring you into a little cutscene where your player's just sitting down at a cafe with the Pokemon. There's a whole photo mode with it. And then after you're done with that little cafe scene, you then come back with all your Pokemon healed up all the way. And the crazy part is that Houndoom, whatever HP I brought it down to, it still had that exact same HP when I came out of the cutscene, which means I charged up my Pokemon for free and was able to take it down. Now, because I spent a lot of time in Wild Zone number 6, I did walk around the entire area multiple times, and the Alpha Pokemon did respawn. So it seems these Pokemon spawns are based on your character's render distance from them, which means shiny hunters, there's potential there for Pokemon respawns. All right, now this is part 2. This is another ZA Royale, which is taking place at nighttime. What you'll notice in this gameplay, which is a little bit different than the other previous ZA Royale nighttime gameplay you saw, is that there are certain things on the floor here which I'll go over. And the beautiful part is this is actually a lot longer than the other part of the video. So you find prize medals on the floor. Of course, you can also mine out those mega shards out of the stones. The moment a enemy character sees you or another trainer sees you, they immediately get into combat with you, because the goal of ZA Royales is for you to really sneak up on your opponent. So over here we have a quick fight with Spritzee versus Totodile, and as you can see, this is a very fleshed out fight. It's not as easy. You can't take them down that fast, and we're throwing out multiple Pokemon. Now, I want to point out something. When Totodile dies, you'll also notice that there's 5 little dots over here. I want to point this out real fast too, and the death screen. The 5 dots represent Pokemon stats. So it's, we have the HP. Totodile's already gone here, but the dots from left to right represent attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and then finally speed. So you can see that Totodile's special defense was knocked down, and then Spritzee did a big attack to KO it, and that's why Totodile died pretty fast. Now, as we continue on over here, you'll notice that there is a switch period. So once your Pokemon KOs, you have a switch, and you notice there is a timer right at the bottom of the screen. You can stall out as much as you want during the switch timer, and what a lot of people discovered is during this time, this is when you can kind of cheese enemy Pokemon. So if you have a poison on the enemy Pokemon, this is where you could just delay a little bit and let that poison run until you are forced to switch out your next Pokemon. And switching out your Pokemon's pretty simple. You just use your left and right D-pad sticks, and then you hit the up on the D-pad, and then the next Pokemon comes out. So it's really simplistic here. So here we go. We have our Fletchinder getting thrown out over here. Again, watch all the little dots here. Watch what happens when you get hit by an attack. Boom, Whirlwind hits the Fritzy, and it's done. Something else that's really cool is that you can see the amount of Pokemon that the trainers have above. And this ZA Royale that we're specifically doing wasn't like the first gameplay one where they had only one Pokemon or two. These trainers actually had a bunch of different Pokemon when you were battling them. So here is a Pichu getting thrown out of here. Of course, Pichu tries to do a Thunder Wave, which, you know, paralyzes your Fletchinder, which makes its speed a lot slower, so it doesn't perform as well, but it managed to take it out with a Flame Host, so Pichu just gets one shot over here, but it unfortunately has the paralysis effect. Then we have the third Pokemon sent out by Lady Yu, which is a Cleffa fairy type, and you can see that the charm was used on our Fletchinder, and pay attention right over here. We said the first dot is attack, so live status effects are happening here. There's a Draining Kiss, which gets your HP. There we go. Another Fletchinder move here. You can see the paralysis, though, trigger during this fight and slow down Fletchinder. But then after you defeat the enemy Pokemon, you do get your victory for completely defeating this trainer. You get your 500 points. You get your amount of medals from this fight, and you get a total amount added over here, because the whole point of a ZA Royale is to receive a challenger's ticket. So once you accumulate all these tickets within that small allotted period of time, you're then going to be able to do a rank up battle afterwards, which we will cover, but we do have more gameplay that we're going to be going over. So let's take a look at this. So after we finish off this trainer, you can see we do have a paralyzed Pokemon. We have one down. And you're going to see something else that's really interesting here. So we get these gold coins as usual that we talked about, the prize medals. But there's something that you'll see, these little blue circles, squares on the screen. I think it's right over here. You have the option to pick these up. Now, if you read it, it says, immediately knock out unaware opponents with your first blow. Basically, what this does is it increases the amount of ticket points you have, and you could stack up to about 3 of these all at once. In this gameplay, the trainer doesn't pick these up, and you get various things like knock out an opponent with an electric attack, or use an electric attack when you start the fight, or sneak attack with a grass move. You get all these different variety of stuff that increases the amount of points, so you just don't have to battle every single trainer in the area in order to get tickets. You can use these blue tickets to create objectives and little mini quests while you're also battling these trainers in order to increase the amount of points, which I think is really nice to throw in there, so everyone's experience is a little bit different when you are doing a ZA Royale. All right, so here is the next opponent. As you can see, you can always lock on to a trainer. That way you can know exactly what rank they are, and the character that we're playing is a rank W, and this enemy is a rank W, and we got a Staryu right in front of us. For some reason, the gameplay is using our Fletchinder against a Staryu, so we're gonna see how that plays out. But they switched out to the Rosalina, so here we go. We got Magical Leave and a Confuse Ray happening, so you can see Confuse in real time happen, and Rosalia is confused. Then the trainer throws out a Binnacle, so let's see what happens here. We're getting a Poison Sting happening, not very effective. Magical Leaf. We saw no consequences on the confusion, but most likely in our games, we'll probably see status effects take place. All right, so this is 2 wins over here. We got some more medals, and we got some more points. That was a really fast match. And if you notice, these matches are very, very quick. Again, I love this part about Pokemon Legends ZA. The matches are so fast, and it makes Pokemon start to feel like a very fast-paced game. And this battle time-based style is something they need to completely implement in the future from here on out. Now, as you can see, we also bumped into another blue ticket, which gives you another example of what they do, which is sneak up and start battles using flying type moves. In this case, you'd use a Fletchinder to increase that, and that was like 400 points for you just doing that. So you would clean up the ZA Royale very fast. Now, something that I wanted to point out that I experienced during this ZA Royale was that there were trainers on top of the roof. There were trainers in odd places, so you could sometimes get a little lost inside of these battle zones because of the elevations like we talked about in the previous section. But it's great to know that there are trainers if you need to battle them. They put plenty of them in these battle zones. And also, you are fighting against time, so you need to try to complete these battle zones before it becomes daytime. All right, so we got our next opponent over here, and as you can see, they got a Froakie. Pokemon X and Y starters are probably going to be catchable in the game. I think it's just the Mega Stones that are going to be probably the battle reward. So anyway, here's a Froakie, completely nuked because you're using a type advantage against it, even though it moves a little bit more slow. And here it comes out with a Fletchling, so they have a type advantage against a Rosalia. We got a Growl happening here, and you switched out to Pikachu in that split second, right? It's so fast. Yeah, you can see that Pikachu took the Growl, which lowers its attack, indicated by that blue bar over there. You can see how fast these priority moves are, like Quick Attack and how it hits Pikachu. We got an Ember, we got a Thunderbolt, and Thunderbolt just instantly murks this Pokemon. Now the trainer sent out a Flappy, coming out with a Thunder Shock, and then Pikachu uses Charm, and Charm, you can see that lowers the attack. If you don't know how to read these, you also have the indicators on the screen, so it's kind of good to have double the amounts of indicators, but it just shows you how long that status effect lasts. So as you can see, Flappy also used Charge, which increases its special defense, which is indicated by this red up arrow over here. Thunderbolts, Thunder Shock. We have a lot of electric on electric action happening right now. Okay, Pikachu finishes it up. Here's Charge and a Nuzzle to knock it out. You get a cool animation, and the fight is over with the victory. And our trainer has 3 wins, so you kind of just have enough gameplay to really understand exactly how this is going to work. It's a W opponent defeated, you get more points, medals, etc. For the next section, I want you to imagine that we finished up all our points and we now have our challenger's ticket. All right, this is now part 3, which is a rank up battle. In our gameplay experience, we were able to talk to this person before just, popping up in a match. You talk to them, you say you're ready to challenge them, and then it begins the instance. And this trainer, Rintaro, has all 3 of these fully evolved elemental monkeys. So I want you to see how important Protect is in a scenario like this. This move is really important. So Staryu is going to go into a Bubble Beam, and then right after that, Staryu is going to use Aqua Jet, which is a high tier priority move. But you can see the important effect of Protect. So Simisear is going to use Protect, and look at that. Completely negated the damage from Aqua Jet, so you can see Protect in real time is really nice. Got a nice Bubble Beam, and you've taken out that Pokemon, and you can just see how fun these fights are back to back. You're using your super effective moves against this monkey, your water attacks, and then once you beat a trainer, you'll get a little bit of dialogue, just as you see on the screen right now. The victory is confirmed, and you will get the rank up right over here. So processing your promotion, and you can see that this is the rank from W to V. In previous Pokemon Legends Z8 trailers, you were also able to see other trainers like Corbeau being someone that you're going to challenge as you rank up. We don't know what rank he is. He could be a lot higher tier, but every single letter rank up is going to have a trainer, and there's a lot of letters in the alphabet, though. It's going to be a cool little side quest to rank up in the Z8 Royales and progress and see all the fun stuff that you're going to experience. And again, fights like these are so quick and fast, and you have to be thinking on your toes, and I like that a lot. I fought all the elemental monkeys in my gameplay. This gameplay just shows you fighting the fire one. So there you go. That's what a rank up looks like in real time after completing a ZA Royale and then going into a rank up fight with a trainer. So pretty nice. Now, part 4 of our preview had us fighting a Mega Rogue Victreebel, which is a lot of fun for a Pokemon to battle because, got to experience it. And if you didn't know, once you beat these Mega Rogue Pokemon, you do get their Mega Stone. So this is another hint that this is the second boss that we're going to be fighting. I don't know if it's a second boss, but it's definitely a boss that we're going to be fighting in the game to get our Mega Stone. Now, during this fight, we had Naveen battle with us with his Ariados, which was a lot of fun here. We were also using all the Pokemon that were given to us during our preview session. Now, a couple things to note about this fight. Victreebel is using Bullet Seeds, which are projectiles that aim at you. It also uses a Vine Whip, which whacks anything that is close range to it. Mega Victreebel also has this attack where it just shoots a bunch of poison all over the place, and it makes these puddles, which you'll see. But that's pretty much 3 of its major attacks, and it's really cool to see that all these Rogue Mega Pokemon have their own individual movesets, and that none of the fights feel the same, and I think that's really important. Anyway, as you hit these Mega Rogue Pokemon, you'll see that they drop a bunch of Mega Energy that your character is then going to be able to pick up, as you can see over here, and that's going to fill your bar at the bottom right of the screen. So as you do more damage, that's how you're going to be able to drop that Mega Energy. Anyway, luckily we have Naveen helping us with the Ariados. I did not see any Mega Evolution during my preview from Naveen, so if you guys are thinking if that's there, it's not. I did not get to see anything. He just was fighting with this basic Pokemon, and that was it. Here's the Sludge in action. Absolutely dangerous over here. We don't want to see that. We can see Absol using certain moves like Double Team here to increase evasion, using Swords Dance to increase attack, and then go ahead with its main moves, which are Night Slash and Slash, which do the most damage here. You can also see that Naveen has a Sableye as well. And something really cool just to note, we can see what Reflect does for the first time ever. So you can see right over here that Sableye used Reflect, and that Reflect will help protect Pokemon on Sableye's side from physical moves. So that's an interesting way to think of how these moves that we're used to in turn-based work when it comes to the practicality of Legends ZA, which is really interesting here. And then after beating Mega Victreebel, I did have more time on my preview slot for Legends ZA, so they just let me go back to Wild Zone 6, which is the first part of this video, and I just kept exploring more and trying to get a shiny Pokemon. But don't worry, if you subscribe to the channel, you will be seeing shiny hunting guides coming for this game in the future when I get my hands on it. So I do hope you enjoyed that little preview session. Now let's get back to the vlog. After we finished our previews, we got to really appreciate the space we were in. They went all out and completely decorated this entire space with plushies that were in the game. And yeah, I was completely overanalyzing them and speculating which Pokemon would get Mega Evolution in the game. They also had some cutouts of the characters from there as well as the starters, but one of the coolest parts was them setting up an entire cafe based on the game. We literally were at a cafe right before this, but now we got a Pokemon themed style for Legends ZA. The main starters of the game were at each one of the tables, and I of course had to sit down at the Totodile table.
It's the best table.
Why? Because we have the GOAT Totodile right here. Uh-oh, dropped your keys. They also had a bunch of other little plushies scattered around as Easter eggs in the area, which is really cool. But then, out of nowhere, Pikachu showed up in a Legends ZA fit and completely agreed with me when I talked to Pikachu that Totodile was the #1 starter. Yeah!
Totodile gang, let's go!
And I'll have no negativity spoken on Totodile in the comments, and the only thing I should see is the reasons why you love Totodile. I'm serious. We then took a giant group photo with Pikachu, turned in our hotel key cards. After turning in my little key card, they gave me this bag, and inside of this bag was another Totodile. This one that was in my video the whole time that I just put in my bag just for dramatic effect when telling this part of the story. On top of that, they also had the Malamar hats that you may have seen some Nintendo staff wearing, so very cool. My friend Malamar. Very cool campaign, by the way. Top tier campaign. And then we had, this is like a confidential Pokemon Legends ZA document. And inside of here is a fancy map of Lumio City that feels a little more high quality. If you can see the texture of the paper. This one's getting framed, basically. Right? Instead of that map. Instead of Alola, we're gonna put Lumio City right there. We then realized the Nintendo Direct is happening, and we kind of were a few minutes late. Luckily, as soon as we got to the hotel, Rogers Base had a giant streamer's couch where a group of us all got together, and to not make this video too long, we'll stick with the Pokemon announcements, which none of us were expecting.
Pokemon! Oh my god!
Stop.
No shot, I just said that.
Ditto?
Ditto. What a Ditto game? You play as Ditto?
Land is just waiting to be shaped.
Pokemon Minecraft?
Pokemon Minecraft is here!
It's not Minecraft. Shut up. All right, it's not. It's not.
No, stop. Whoa!
Hold on. He's learning.
Except you're learning the move.
You're learning the
This is
power. You can
Pokemon
make
Echoes
grass
of
grow.
Wisdom.
Gosh.
Oh my god! Oh my god! You're
As
this is
nature
crazy.
flourishes.
Of all the things, like for a Pokemon spinoff to have Ditto.
I think this might be Pokemon Galaxy. Just don't say today, please.
Give me time to breathe, please.
Oh my god, different islands! Oh my god, there's faces! Can they show fun? Oh, we can see! We can hang out with each other! This is it.
I'm gonna be so
You're building, guys. No, it's your own Pokemon bases. You can invite your friends.
Pokemon Pokopia.
Pokopia.
Probably new.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Lock in. The battle of.
This is when you go on land against
Wait, no. Look. Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Wait, no. The bottom right.
Sick dude spinning on the peak.
Zygarde? Wait, what's he doing? Okay.
Mega Greninja, bro. What?
Oh, stop! What is going? Wait, stop! Wait. Why is there a portal?
We're gonna get kicked out of this hotel, bro. I'm sitting here like screaming.
What is that?
Those are Mega Stones.
Or maybe this is for what in the world?
That's Raichu.
What's this? Double Raichu? What is
That's Mega Raichu.
That looks like Thanos.
X and Y! Mega Raichu!
Stop.
What? No!
What? Mega
Dimension.
What is this? What is this?
This is a whole new pre-orders to get DLC. Wait. What?
I can't!
See, called Mega Dimension.
It's not out yet.
What is happening?
There's a Mega Raichu X and Y!
How do you think they'll perform?
What is happening right now, dude?
Okay, we can like talk about it for a second.
Okay, we can't talk for a second though.
Yeah,
we
okay.
can't talk for a second. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Paid DLC
The game's
for
not out
ZA
yet.
before it got announced with Mega Raichu X and Y.
That's how much confidence they have in this game.
Clearly.
I am trying to think about all the Mega Stones that I saw in that trailer and what Pokemon they could possibly be. So much speculation happening. But in all honesty, that was probably the most insane Nintendo Direct I've seen in a very long time, and probably one of my favorite ones. However, this was the end of day 2, and now it was time for the start of day 3. This day brought a ton of Mega surprises. We arrived at Reset Cafe as our home base for the big Year of Mega Evolution Pokemon Go Stamp Rally. Inside of the Reset Cafe, it was themed out with a bunch of Pokemon Legends ZA decorations, just like the Eiffel Tower was, and once we checked in, we were then given a surprise, a Mega Evolution duffel bag, which was filled with a bunch of goodies.
If you are curious what is inside of here, well, I'm going to show you. We got a postcard of Lumio City right here, Mega Evolution, okay. A bunch of stickers, Mega Charizard X, Y, and Pikachu. Then we have another informational pamphlet over here, Mega Evolution on the back, and it has stuff on the inside, but I can't read this because it's in French. Then we got ourselves a passport. That's pretty cool, a little passport book here, and we have a ticket. This is your little admit one over here. Look at that. On the front, it has a Mega Lucario and a Pikachu and a Mega Gardevoir, and then on the back, and it says Bon Voyage. But then we got some cool stuff. We got a Mega Evolution hat right over here. There's Mega Evolution hat. Another postcard with Pikachu, Gardevoir, Mega Evolution umbrella. Oh, it says Mega Evolution right here. This is in case it was rainy. It actually did rain there, so they were pretty handy. And the final item in this duffel bag is a cool Mega Evolution little water bottle, little water canister thing. And of course, it has Mega Gardevoir, Mega Lucario, and Pikachu on it, so that's really cool. All right, that's everything that was in the bag. Let's get back to the video.
After receiving our bag, we then made our way to the first location for the Pokemon Go Stamp Rally, which was Leal. And after getting a stamp, I had an encounter with a shiny Charmander.
Oh, already?
I'm getting a shiny Mega.
Yo.
I'm getting a shiny Mega.
And it wasn't the only one who got it. My buddy Baldo also got a shiny Charmander, as well as our lovely Pokemon influencer manager, Kelly. Now, there was a big pop-up event that was happening here themed around Lumio City and Mega Evolution. They had the Mega Stone symbols everywhere here. There were also constellations of Mega Pokemon, and if you hit the Mega Pokemon button, that would light up on that constellation in the sky, which is pretty cool. I looked above to see if there were any new Megas on the sky, but there was nothing there. We also found a bunch of evolution stones, like real life evolution stones that corresponded to the actual Mega Pokemon, and if you push the button, you would also hear their cry. And
Perfect.
wow. Yes, I was looking for all those Mega Evolution stones that were shown off in the Pokemon DLC trailer, but they didn't have any of those extra ones there. But it was just cool to see real life Mega Evolution stones. They also had a funny board with advertisements from Pokemon Legends ZA, which included an ad for Hotel Z. There was also a little Kef key station where we grabbed a lock with a key in it. We pulled out the key as a little souvenir, and then we would write something on the lock and attach it to a fence so that it was always there in remembrance of this event. And I, of course, wrote subscribe to PhillyBeatzU like you all should. You're doing that right now, right? All right, great. But one of the coolest things that was there was a mini replica of Lumio City. Legitimately, they put all the buildings and they had the Prism Tower in the center. It was awesome. It's literally something I actually want to build for myself, and I need it. So Pokemon released this so I could just buy it. I also took a compatibility test with the Mega Pokemon of my choice, and it said I had good bonding with it, so I guess that's a good thing. After we were done, a bunch of us got Pikachu hats and a French fun pack of Destined Rivals, which I didn't open, but kept as a souvenir because, you know, this card market, who wants to open cards? It's better sealed. After this, I got a few more stamps, but then I had to knock out because of my jet lag. So my wife, Henna, can we get a W in chat for her, went around to all the various other stamp locations, hitting every single beautiful landmark around Paris until they filled up the stamp rally, and then then it was completely worth it because that Charmander that I caught earlier was able to evolve into a shiny Mega Charizard. And the best part about this in the Pokemon Go app is that Mega Pokemon has the Paris background behind it. How iconic is that? A Mega shiny Pokemon caught in Paris with Lumio City pretty much in the background. You can't beat that. And I actually might be considering bringing this Charizard eventually to Pokemon Legends ZA when Pokemon Home compatibility is there. So let me know what I should nickname it. This wasn't just a trip. It was a full circle moment I never really saw coming. I played Pokemon X and Y back in college, running through Lumio City on a tiny screen, dreaming about what it would actually be like to be here. And now, all these years later, Pokemon brought me to Paris. I stood on top of the Eiffel Tower where I played Pokemon Legends ZA. I carried my Totodile through the real streets of Lumio City, from immersive pulls on a river cruise with a bunch of friends to mega evolution hunts across the city, to reacting and really making memories with friends who just love this as much as I do. It wasn't just about early access or gameplay. It was about reconnecting with the kid in me who loved this world so much, and he never stopped playing. And now he gets to share it with all of you. So thank you for being a part of this journey, for growing with me, for believing in the world of Pokemon just like I always have. Now this chapter may be over, but now it begins in Pokemon Legends ZA.